He's an explosive UFC fighter, known for his dynamic fighting style and electrifying performances inside the Octagon. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches tall, his agility and unorthodox techniques have made him a formidable force. This man's relentless pursuit of victory and engaging personality outside the ring have solidified his place as a rising star in mixed martial arts. Today, we will be exploring one of the best showstoppers who is as amusing as he is devastating. From his impactful striking to extravagant celebrations and flair, the light heavyweight star known as Johnny Walker.
Justin Ledet is the underdog in the blue.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Johnny Walker, look out!
Born in Rio de Janeiro on March 30th, 1992, Walker Johnny da Silva Barra de Souza was his full name. His parents never intended to name him after the famous whiskey brand. It just happened to end up that way, with the mother deciding that all her children would have names starting with the letter J. Although he would call himself Walker Johnny, signs and promotions would often display his name in the reverse order.
Here to kick! Johnny Walker just that quickly!
Leading to questions about alcohol and fighting. Despite all this, Johnny learned to embrace having such a recognizable name in the competitive world of MMA, which played a crucial part in standing out from the crowd. Walker competed in his first official MMA bout on December 14th, 2013 in Brazil against Francisco, which lasted for only 49 seconds of the first round. Johnny landed a series of knees and punches, and that was all she wrote. His next couple of fights would see him triumphantly showcase an arsenal of heavy-handed striking abilities, running over both opponents by TKO. This aggressive and exciting style would actually continue over the next 3 years of competition, even testing the waters at heavyweight during a brief stint of his career, earning a record of 10 wins and 3 losses, with all of his victories coming by stoppage. Walker fought his last fight in Brazil on the 12th of August 2017, after which he received a phone call from a Scottish entrepreneur, enticing him to move to Scotland to train. Nothing really beneficial came out of it, and Johnny would end up moving to England. It was in the UK where his dominant performances marked the turning point of his career. Adding 3 more victories, all by TKO or knockout, his dangerous power and finishing capabilities earned a coveted spot in Dana White's Contender Series, where he fought Henrique da Silva in a war which lasted all 3 rounds. The judges would award him with the decision win, and his ascent would begin, as the fight earned him a golden ticket to the UFC. On the night of November 17th, 2018, Johnny Walker made his promotional debut. The Brazilian Warrior faced off against Khalil Roundtree Jr. at UFC Fight Night 140. Johnny's debut in the Octagon was a spectacle that left the audience spellbound. His unorthodox fighting style, a blend of fluid movements reminiscent of capoeira and the precision of traditional martial arts, mesmerized fans. Walker absolutely manhandled Roundtree. And after a vicious elbow followed by ground and pound, Johnny Walker had announced his arrival to the big leagues.
And another short elbow sends Roundtree to his back, and that's it. Welcome to the...
Following the KO, we would witness a flashy backflip in the center of the ring, making him as famous for his celebrations as for his scary striking ability. This secured his first Performance of the Night bonus. He went on to face Justin Ledet as a second test at UFC Fight Night 144, who received a brutal spinning backfist just 15 seconds into the fight.
105-pound division, Justin Ledet is the underdog in the blue.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Johnny Walker, look out! And now...
Giving Johnny his second straight win in the UFC and earning a second Performance of the Night bonus. Then, in an unexpected set of events, Walker was given the opportunity to replace Ovince St. Preux on short notice to face Misha Cirkunov at UFC 235. With increased exposure on a bigger fight card, Johnny knew that this was his chance to shine. Under the big lights of the T-Mobile Arena, the impact could be felt as he rammed a flying knee right to the face of Cirkunov.
The reason why that happens is look at
Johnny Walker with another flying knee.
he throws.
Finishing it off and walking away with his third consecutive Performance of the Night bonus. The excitement of the crowd fueled his adrenaline and infectious energy as the post-fight dancing began. Unfortunately, Walker would dislocate his shoulder in a rather comical fall to the ground fashion while doing the worm, another personification of him, amusing fight fans with his celebrations.
Dislocated?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's take a look at that. Wild. That man is wild. Literally and figuratively.
However, as emphatic as they were, they didn't last long. His subsequent fights were a roller coaster of highs and lows, each bout showcasing his unbridled potential and occasional vulnerabilities. The Brazilian exposed a bit too much of himself in his next battle against Corey Anderson at UFC 244. The pressure of putting on a good show for fans in New York and his overconfidence taught him some valuable lessons. Johnny would get rocked by a powerful right hand, which left him reeling for the rest of the fight, which, well, didn't last long either, as the referee saved him from further damage, handing him his first UFC defeat by TKO.
Hey-oh, Corey, overtime Anderson.
This was followed by another loss at UFC Fight Night 170 against Nikita Krylov, who used a stifling ground game to nullify Walker's striking prowess in the stand-up. With no answers for the full 3 rounds and unable to work his way back up, Johnny dropped a unanimous decision. Facing the pressures of living up to the hype, he sought guidance from experienced coaches, fine-tuned his defensive techniques, and honed his mental fortitude to withstand the challenges that came with being in the spotlight. Walker soon tested positive for COVID and had to postpone his next match against Ryan Spann from UFC 176 to UFC 178. In a search for redemption, he returned with a chip on his shoulder, showing more determination than ever. Despite taking a few blows early on, the warrior spirit in him didn't waver as he rallied back to finish the bout by TKO in the first round.
Nice job from Johnny Walker. Oh!
It landed. Put Johnny Walker Johnny Walker rallies for a sensational finish.
Celebrating the win with a Zen style of meditation, Johnny would proclaim he was more focused mentally and fortified physically for what's ahead. Returning to the Octagon to headline UFC Fight Night 193, Walker would go the full 5 rounds with Thiago Santos, but end up on the losing end of a unanimous decision. Following this result, he signed a new 6-fight contract with a promotion who had already put the marketing wheels behind him. Looking to get back on the winning track, Johnny took on a fellow contender by the name of Jamahal Hill. He looked slower than before as his opponent put him to sleep with a right blow to the temple.
Like this, you gotta dodge the crazy punch.
Oh, my gosh! That's
Jamahal Hill.
Lodged in another 2-fight losing streak, it wouldn't be until UFC 279 where Walker would return to his winning ways. In a matchup fans were sure would produce fireworks, the Brazilian came face to face with Ion Cutelaba. Instead of a stand-up war, most of the fight was contested on the ground as Cutelaba caught a leg kick early and took him down. Johnny's improved grappling defense and jiu-jitsu skills were on full display as he worked his way onto Ion's back and sunk in a rear naked choke during the last minute of the first round. This also achieved his 4th Performance of the Night bonus.
Oh, that's tight. Oh, he's under. Oh, yeah, he's under the chin. Oh, but Ion's doing it.
The next bout was scheduled in his hometown of Rio de Janeiro, with the Brazilian crowd largely on his side. He fought a very dangerous Paul Craig, who made a huge error in catching Johnny's kick, thinking he would be able to convert it into a takedown. Walker countered Craig by battering him with punches, eventually leading to a TKO. His climb back up the rankings continued at UFC on ABC against an extremely experienced fighter in Anthony Smith. The fight went the distance, as Johnny got the better of their striking exchanges. One particular technique of note which compromised Smith were the punishing leg kicks throughout the war. In the end, the judges awarded the unanimous decision to Walker, keeping his winning streak intact. The charismatic fighter's most recent fight was at UFC 294, with Magomed Ankalaev, who was coming off an interim title fight against Jan Blachowicz, which ended in a split draw. The fight started and ended quickly. In the most crucial moment of the first and only round, Ankalaev drove his knee into Walker's chin while the Brazilian was still grounded, forcing the referee to step in due to the foul. The doctor was sent in to assess Johnny's condition, resulting in an unnerving pause. During this time, Walker did not provide an adequate enough response to his inquiries, resulting in the ringside doctor calling a stop to the match. Walker, visibly perplexed by the decision, attempted to defy the referee and continue against Ankalaev. In all of his immense frustration, he nudged the referee aside, getting security members and the cornermen to intervene. UFC President Dana White also entered the cage to help calm the situation down. The official decision rendered the bout a no contest due to Ankalaev's illegal knee. Ultimately, in what was arguably the worst doctor stoppage in UFC history, no winner or loser was declared. With promises to make things right, the two are scheduled for a rematch at UFC Fight Night 234, and it would be quite a spectacle to witness how Johnny would adjust to Ankalaev's relentless and accurate punches. More focus on takedown defense is needed if he wants to keep the fight standing, and given the magnitude of this main event, the victor will undoubtedly be in title contention. There is a lot on the line for both fighters in this epic matchup, and as fight fans, we are glad to see a redo of what should be an electrifying contest. Well, that's it for today. If you want to see Walker vs. Ankalaev going at each other again, live in action, then make sure to tune in on January 13th for UFC Fight Night 234.